What's up, YouTube? Thomas L here. Since Paul Rudd returns as Ant-Man in Avengers Endgame, which opens this week, I decided to do my top 10 favorite Paul Rudd movies because I've been a fan of this guy for years. I've always liked Paul Rudd. The guy could do comedy, he could do drama, he could do a lot of stuff. And heck, I actually first got notice of him when he was in one of the Halloween movies. That's right. Once upon a time, Paul Rudd actually went face to face with Michael Myers. But lots of people don't remember that. Anyway, that being said, here's my 10 favorite Paul Rudd movies. Alright. Coming in at number 10 is a film called They Came Together. This movie is hysterical. It's pretty much like a spoof of romantic comedies. There's like a spoof of Along Came Polly. There's, spoofs of other romantic comedies that got released couple years. And it's really funny. Like, the film stars Amy Poehler and Rudd. And in it, Amy Poehler plays the owner of an independent candy shop. And she ends up falling for the corporate stooge played by Paul Rudd, who has, of course, been sent to shut her down. And they, of course, begin a unlikely romance with one another. Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, those two work together perfectly. I believe Paul Rudd was on Parks and Rec, if I'm not mistaken. So they've worked together in other stuff, too. But anyway, this movie is really hysterical. There's lots of laughs here. It's a really cute little rom-com. It was directed by David Wayne, who worked with Paul Rudd a couple of times, actually. Like, I got a couple of other David Wayne movies in this list. And it also had a pretty good supporting cast. Like, the cast in this included Kenan Thompson had a role in this. It also had John Stamos. Micah Shannon even had, like, a little funny cameo in this. Let's see. Heck, there's even a funny scene with Judge Judy. That's right, Judge Judy has a cameo in this movie. And I'm not gonna spoil what Judge Judy's part is, but there's a scene that Judge Judy says in this movie, which you'll be like, wait, Judge Judy actually said that? It's really funny, pretty underrated. I mean, the movie got released in 2014, and not a lot of people really talk about, which is disappointing because it was a really good little film. And like a few other people, like you also had Kobe Smolder in this, Bill Hader, Chris Maloney had a part in this, Ed Helms, Ellie Kemper, Max Greenfield, Randall Park, Jack McBrayer, Adam Scott had a part in this, Jeffrey D. Morgan. Some really interesting actors have appeared in this, and it's a really funny little gem. Definitely check out They Came Together. I think you'll enjoy it. Alright, coming in at number 9 is a film called Wonderlust. Now, this movie was also directed by David Wayne, and in it, Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston plays a couple who lives in Manhattan. And so, like, Paul Rudd's character, George, loses his job, and so him and his wife, played by Aniston, have little choice but to move to Atlanta and stay with his troubled brother. And so, like, on the way, the couple happen upon a Elysium, and which features a counterculture community where money, career, and clothing are strictly optional. And so they decide to make a fresh start in this new town. It's really funny film. Like, Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston have worked together before this. I believe The Object of My Affection they were in together, if I'm not mistaken. But this movie was really funny. Like, you also had Alan Alda, almost said Arkin. Alan Alda was in this. Jordan Peele had a funny cameo. Of course, this was post Get Out, his post Get Out years, of course. And a few other people in this. Mullen Ackerman had a pretty funny cameo. Not cameo, but Justin Theroux, Ken Marano. Catherine Hahn was in this. I love Catherine Hahn, by the way. That woman, every time she does something, she always cracks me up when she's on screen. But yeah, David Wayne is a really underrated director. He's done some really great stuff, and this is actually one of his better works. I still kind of wish David Wayne was chosen to direct Ant-Man, to be honest with you, but hey, Peyton Reed still did a good job there. But anyway, yeah, Wonderlust is really funny. It has some pretty funny scenes in it too, and I mean, it's not a great movie. It has cringy stuff, but at the end of the day, it's not all that bad. Alright. Coming in at number 8. Alright, coming in at number 8 is This Is 40. This Is 40 is really funny. It's actually like a spin-off of Knocked Up, which of course featured Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann. At this time, it's a spin-off of them where they are, of course, features them struggling to raise their 2 daughters, played by Judd Apatow and Leslie Mann's real-life daughters. Anyway, this is a really funny little film. It's not really like it's a comedy, yes, but it has lots of heart than you expect. That's the thing with Judd Apatow movies. His movies are comedies, but sometimes they'll always have like some like a heart, like some heart to it, some serious moments, and this actually has some pretty serious moments to it, despite being a full-on comedy. And anyway, it's pretty much a movie about getting older, and I really like the chemistry between both Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann. The daughters in this, Maud and Iris Apatow, they were really great. I mean, it shows that talent runs in the Apatow household. You also had Albert Brooks was in this. John Lithgow had a pretty funny role. Jason Segel reprised his role from Knocked Up. He was pretty funny in this. Even had Melissa McCartney was also in this. Who else was in this? Let me. Oh yeah, Megan Fox. I love Megan Fox in this. Shailene Yi was also good in this. Chris O'Dowd, Robert Smigel, Billy Joe Armstrong had a pretty good role in this. Lena Dunham was even good in this. Some pretty good actors appear in this. I mean, yeah, if you guys never really had a chance to check out This Is 40 by now, I highly recommend it. It's really funny. And probably it's up there for my favorite Judd Apatow movies as well. It's a really good little film. Okay. Now coming in at number 7 will be Ant-Man. Now, Iron Man, when they first announced that they were going to make an Ant-Man movie, I was like, really? A guy who gets struck down? Oh, that sounded dumb. But the movie was awesome. I just love this movie so much. It is really fun. It's a nice heist movie. I mean, it's kind of like a Ocean's movie, but for superheroes. That's what it really is. Like, I guess you could say it's like Ocean's 11 meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's what I kind of really got from this when I first saw this movie. Of course, you had Michael Douglas as Hank Pym was great. Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne was really great. Of course, later on she becomes the Wasp. Really amazing film. It is really funny, and Michael Pena was such a scene steal in this movie as well. I love Michael Pena here. And not to mention, T.I. was great. David, the one who plays like the other guy opposite T.I. I can never really pronounce his last name too well, but he was really good here. Ant-Man is really great. And of course, Corey Stoll as Yellow Jacket was a great villain. I really love Ant-Man. Alright, coming in at number 6 is Wet Hot American Summer. Now here, of course, Paul Rudd plays the role of Andy, who's a counselor at Camp Firewood, and he has a girlfriend named Kate, played by Marguerite Morallo, who also works there too. But he is obviously, unfaithful to her and can be seen going after other counselors as well. I mean, Paul Rudd's his character here was not that likable, but Paul Rudd played the role really well. And the movie was also directed by David Wayne. And it had a few fresh faces that you'll know of now. Like in the film, there's Paul Rudd. Yeah, just remember, Avengers Endgame technically has a Wet Hot American Summer reunion with Paul Rudd and Bradley Cooper. I just realized that. Anyway, back to the casting. Of course, you had Elizabeth Banks, who Paul Rudd worked with Elizabeth Banks a couple times after this as well. Of course, Michael Ian Black was in this. Christopher Meloni. Really good casting. Wet Hot American Summer is a really funny little gem. And of course, Paul Rudd reprises Andy Rowe in for the Netflix sequel, which was actually pretty good. Matter of fact, the Netflix thing that they did, which was like a sequel. I really like that Netflix sequel they did. But the movie version, I think, is better. It has lots of heart to it. The chemistries in this movie was pretty good. Wet Hot American Summer is really great. Alright. Coming in at number 5 is Anchorman. Now here, Paul Rudd, of course, plays one of the Anchormans named Brian Fatana, who's, of course, Ron Burgundy's co-worker, who's also known for being a Lay's man. And, of course, he has, like, a mustache. I mean, the mustache isn't as good as Ron Burgundy's mustache. I mean, come on. But Paul Rudd, he stole lots of scenes here. He had good chemistry with the other leads, like Will Ferrell, as well as Steve Carell and David Koechner. All four of those guys have really great chemistry. I mean, with Will Ferrell always getting much love as Ron Burgundy, people barely talk about his fellow co-workers. Like, no one barely talks about Steve Carell or David Koechner or even Paul Rudd. If they ever announced, like, instead of a third Anchorman, I gotta say, I'll be down to see more of a spin-off that stars Paul Rudd, Steve Carell, and David Koechner. I'll be down to see a spin-off of that. I mean, either I love Anchorman 2. If they were to announce if they had announced a spin-off instead of a sequel, I'll be more down for that. But Paul Rudd, he was really funny in this. And he was really good in part 2 as well. Alright. Coming in at number 4 is the 40-Year-Old Virgin. Now, of course, here Paul Rudd plays one of Steve Carell's best friends here. I mean, Paul Rudd and Steve Carell, those two are pretty much best buds. They've worked together a lot. And Paul Rudd had some really good chemistry with Steve Carell, as well as Romany Malco. Of course, Seth Rogen was also in this. And Elizabeth Banks also was in this too, so another film that Paul Rudd worked with Elizabeth Banks on. Not to mention Kevin Hart, before lots of people who knew who Kevin Hart was also in this. The 40-Year-Old Virgin is really funny. I mean, in it, Steve Carell plays a character named Annie, who's, of course, a 40-year-old virgin who lives alone in his apartment filled with his collection of action figure and video games. And so, like, of course, at a poker game with his coworkers, one of which is played by Paul Rudd, the conversation, of course, turns into, sexual explodes, and of course, pretty much, tells that he's still a virgin. So, yeah, but of course, 40-Year-Old Virgin was also directed by Judd Apatow, who did a great job at directing this. I mean, 40-Year-Old Virgin had some pretty funny laughs in it. Like, it's not really my favorite comedy of all time. I know there's lots of people that put 4-Year Version as in their top 10 favorite comedies of all time. I love the movie, but to me, it's not the best of all time. But it's still pretty funny. It has lots of heart to it. You know, the cast all had good chemistry with one another. I really love this movie. It's a really funny little gem. Okay. Now, coming in at number 3 is another David Wayne movie, and that is Role Models. Role Models is hysterical. Now, in it, Paul Rudd and Seann William Scott plays salesman. Paul Rudd plays the character Danny, while Seann William Scott plays Wheeler. And so they end up, they end up, something happens and they end up serving jail time. Like, not jail time, but it's to save them from jail. They're pretty much supposed to do community service while being in a mentoring program to be like big brothers to other kids. Like, Paul Rudd is being a mentor, like a big brother mentor to Christmas Plus, while Seann William Scott is mentoring Bobby J. Thompson. Who Bobby J. Thompson was hysterical here. That kid had a real foul mouth. And also, I really like the chemistry between Paul Rudd and Christmas Plus. Their chemistry worked well. This movie has some really funny lines. It's a hysterical film. I mean, I always like the chemistry between both Scott and Paul Rudd. Their chemistry worked together perfectly here. Of course, Elizabeth Banks was also in this. Jane Lynch stole lots of scenes. Camerano was great. I really appreciate this movie. I mean, I still own the movie on DVD, and I'll watch it tons of times. It is hysterical, and it's a shame that that they never really went ahead in this sequel, because I would love to have seen these characters again. And Christmas Plus, I mean, he actually followed up Superbad with this. So since then, his career has been doing pretty well. So if you guys never had a chance to check out Role Models, do yourself a favor. If it's on Netflix, if it's on TV, well, maybe not TV because they cut out the best parts, but if it's on whatever, check it out. It's really funny. Alright. Now, coming in at number 2 is the Ant-Man sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, the first Ant-Man was great. I had a blast with the first Ant-Man. But then the second one came around. To me, it's better than the first film. I just really love the second Ant-Man. I love the Stan Lee cameo. That cameo was pretty funny. Of course, just yesterday I did my 10 favorite Stan Lee MCU cameos, and Ant-Man and the Wasp was, of course, in that list. Of course, you got Evangeline Lilly, who made her debut as the Wasp. Of course, spoiler for Ant-Man and the Wasp. But of course, at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man ended up being trapped in the quantum realm. So it's going to be curious to see who takes him out. Anyway, of course, they kind of wasted Walton Goggins in this, though. I mean, I love the movie, but I kind of hate how they wasted Paul Walton Goggins. Anyway, of course, Lawrence Fishburne was great. Oh wait, did I accidentally call Evangeline Lilly's character Janet? I meant to say Hope Van Dyne. Why did I call her Janet? Anyway, Janet is of course played by Michelle Pfeiffer. But anyway, of course Michael Pena was once again funny. I just really love this one. I mean, I saw the movie about 3 times when it got released. It's really fun. If you guys still never seen it, check out Ant-Man and the Wasp. I mean, I'm still hoping Marvel will go ahead and do a third one, but I'm not really sure if we're ever going to see another one, to be honest with you. But overall, I cannot wait to see Ant-Man in Endgame. Now, my number 1 favorite Paul Rudd movie. Now, this movie barely gets talked about, but my number 1 favorite Paul Rudd movie, believe it or not, is Our Idiot Brother. Our Idiot Brother is one of his funniest roles. In it, Paul Rudd plays a dimwit slacker named Ned Roachland, who of course makes the biggest mistake of his so far uninspired life when he accidentally sells pot to a cop, and so like he ends up being homeless and jobless. And upon his release from jail, he actually pretty much goes to his three sisters, played by Elizabeth Banks, Zoe Deschanel, and Emily Mortimer, to help him. And anyway, this movie is hysterical. I mean, Paul Rudd, he had some really funny parts in this. There's like a dumb scene where Paul Rudd is on a subway and he hands just a regular guy his money to hold for a bit. I'm like, pal, you're not gonna see that money again. I mean, the movie's title says it all. This guy is an idiot. I mean, when I mean idiot, I mean idiot. Like, he pretty much makes, this guy here makes, Harry and Laurie from Dumb and Dumber look like college students. I mean, that's how dumb this guy could really be. But overall, Paul Rudd was really great here. I mean, I thought he had a really great performance. Emily Mortimer was terrific. Zoe Deschanel was great. Even had Steve Coogan in this. Yeah, and his chemistry with his sisters were all pretty good to watch. Also, you had Adam Scott was also in this. Kathryn Hahn, T.J. Miller. You also had Shirley Knight in this. Sterling K. Brown, way before This Is Us. Yeah, it had some really good cast members in this, and it's a really funny little film. And sad to say that it didn't do. I can't remember if it did so well in the box office, but it's a shame that if it did, because it's really good. I mean, it's funny, it's heartfelt. It's probably one of my favorite movies of 2011. To be honest, yeah, it's that good of a film. If you guys never seen Our Idiot Brother, check it out. It's definitely Paul Rudd's best work in my opinion. But that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, Came Together. 9, Wanderlust. 8, This Is 40. 7, Ant-Man. 6, Wet Hot American Summer. 5, Anchorman. 4, 40-Year-Old Virgin. 3, Role Models. 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 1, Our Idiot Brother. Now, he also played the teacher in Perks of Being a Wallflower. He was great in that. A few other stuff I probably could have added. He was also in Sausage Party. Let's see. Clueless. I keep forgetting he was in Clueless. Let's see. I Love You Man, which lots of people love I Love You Man. Never really care for it. Let's see. Ideal Home. I just saw that on HBO. That was okay. Forgot he was in Romeo and Juliet. Still haven't seen Catcher Was a Spy because I have no interest in that. He was in the movie How Do You Know with Owen Wilson, Reese Witherspoon, Jack Nicholson. That was okay. He was in Dinner for Schmucks, which I thought was actually terrible. He was in Admission, which was terrible. Monsters vs. Aliens he was in. He's been in some pretty good stuff over the years. And some not so good stuff, but... Anyway, let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Paul Rudd movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.